How's everyone doing out there? Welcome back to the House of Business Podcast 2.0. This is your host, Caleb Thompson. I would like to welcome you guys in. Thank you guys for tuning in. I would ask that you like, share, subscribe to this podcast and to this particular channel that we have. We do have another platform that will be on daily motion that will start during the winter. So we are going to run a winter campaign on operating a company within different seasons to fully operating a company that's still profitable, just fully remotely during these seasons. You know what I mean? During these seasons where there's blizzards, where there's storms, where you are, in a when it's winter time. You just never know what can happen during the winter. Not everyone has access to certain areas of the world when it's winter time, or can even leave their driveway in some cases, depending on where you live at. Myself, I would like to live in a place that's kind of slightly off-grid, country style, a lot of land, big home, may turn into a family compound. But the downside of that is that being so far out, you wouldn't have anyone to come and pave your road. You have to pave your own roads, to get your tractor or something. So that would be something I would have to do. Even as a CEO, get me a tractor and pave the roads for my family to get in and out of that area. So we're going to start talking about that. Coming winter time, we will give an exact update and a certain exact time when we will start to launch those episodes that's dealing with different seasons. That special episode dealing with how to run a company entirely remotely, how to manage properties. If you're managing properties, running a company, we're going to talk about how to do that remotely. A lot of you guys had a taste of this during COVID, but some of us wasn't even in the game during COVID. So if you're just now becoming a business owner, you are moving from the worker side to the entrepreneurial side of business. Now you're not working for a company for 10 years. Now you're not hopping job to job. Now you're saying that, I want to be creative. I want to take my passion. I want to take my artwork. I want to take certain things that I love to do, and I want to monetize it, and I want to create a living for myself based off what I love to do, so it can release me both mentally and physically from the turmoil of, corrupt and company culture, or, crazy company. Let me just put it like that. Crazy company culture that I don't align with. So a lot of times people go into entrepreneurship because they hate the company culture. They love to pay, hate the company culture. So this episode is called Breaking Mental Payroll. Number one, I'm going to give you 3 points here, as I usually do. I try to stick to 3 points. I may make some other points along the way that that I feel like are very vital to me, or that needs to be said. But number one is the concept of mental payroll. This is what I want you guys to understand. I used to, well, I ain't gonna say I used to, well, I realized, I was showing up in life like the same way that I used to clock in at a job. Just doing enough to get by, following the routine, waiting for direction. When you show up to a job, you really wait to be managed. You know what I mean? Some people have a position at work or a position of authority, but there's still a system set in place to even manage their job or to help them do their job better. And there's always going to be someone over you. Even if there's a CEO of a company, there's still someone over him. There's still someone over him. I don't care if it's Uncle Sam. I don't care if it's, out of Dun and Bradstreet plays a role in him getting business credit to a certain degree. Some of those Net 30 accounts, some of those other tray lines, some I'm not going to name a lot, but there's someone over him that can either give him access to capital or give him access to certain levels to take his business to the next level. And there's certain companies that can shut those doors in his face. You know what I mean? So even the CEO or the founder of a company still has someone to answer to. And even those companies that can open or close doors on him have someone to answer to as well. So whether it's the bank or the government, or even the government has someone to answer to. But what I'm saying, I realize just showing up to life like you show up to work. Now, this can vary because some people have a different ethic. As I can say, they can show up to work ready to execute, ready to get things done, ready to, make sure that everything is organized in place. A lot of people like this is people you want on your team when you're creating a company, for the simple fact that their number one goal is to take enough pressure off of the CEO where he can be creative and help the company to grow. If you have people that's under you and their job is just to get paid, if they don't, you have to instill in the mindset of your employees, or of your employees and colleagues, your job is to make sure that you take pressure off of me so that I can be more creative, network, make more strides in the company so that you can benefit from it. The less stressful I am, the more that I can move the company forward, and the more that I can extend raises to you guys as well. So that's something that you need to know about. So I realized that I was showing up to life the same way I used to show up and clock in at a job when I did work a job. Just doing enough to get by, following a routine, waiting for direction. I was mentally collecting a check for effort, not for growth. Just basically doing what I needed to do to get by, to make sure that is a mental check. You know what I mean? You're collecting a check for effort and not for growth. Sometimes you can catch yourself operating on an autopilot, just checking inboxes instead of checking progress, checking inboxes instead of checking progress. So the whole concept of this particular episode is that to learn how to clock out. Don't just show up to life. Mental payroll has to do with just showing up to life just like everyone else. You know what I mean? Just like you were clocking into a job. You have to learn how to separate what you do as an employee from what you do in life. But I do want you to know this: whatever you do in life and the growth and the value that you cultivate in your personal life will creep into your business, or will creep into your employment, because you are bringing a version of a person to work. You are bringing a version of a person to a marriage. You are bringing a version of a person to becoming a parent. So you have to create value. You have to there's a certain version of yourself. Don't clock into life every day like I just gave an effort. I got up today. I made breakfast. I watched the news. You're just on autopilot. You're doing the same thing every day, but there is no intentional growth in your life. You read 30 books. You know what I mean? You read 30 books. They all had great stories, but they didn't administer any growth. At least by reading those books, at least try to cultivate the desire to be a author. And I've read so many books. I know how to shape a character from nothing. I know how to, give the character a background story. I know how to give them a family. I know how to add a plot twist because I've read so many books. So I think that now it's my time to kind of use everything that I've learned and write my own book for once. Write my own science fiction book. Write my own business book. Write my own fiction book, or my autobiography, or the autobiography of an angel that came to earth, or autobiography of a ballerina that was, there's something crazy whose parents was draconians or something, something extravagant but still real, but something that would interest people. And you can shape a story or shape someone's life because you've read so many books. But if you're just reading books and it's not helping you it's not helping you or pushing you or administering any type of growth, you're on autopilot. You're living a routine life. And like I said, not everybody wants to. When I speak in these episodes, I'm speaking from a place of me understand. I want to understand that not everybody wants to grow. That's the number one thing that you really have to understand. What I'm trying to do, I'm trying to pour some hope into you, or some strength into you, basically saying that it's possible. It's possible. Whatever you want to do in life, it is completely possible for you to do. It's completely possible for you to do. So, but breaking mental payroll, but I'm gonna tell you exactly what this means. Mental payroll. This is what I wrote down. Mental payroll, to me, means that I'm working in mind, but not building anything real. I'm thinking small, playing safe. I'm waiting for something that's already mine to claim. That is mental payroll. Mental payroll is not saying that you have let's say trashed your risk management skills, or you have no risk management, but it means that you are operating from a place of risk management, where you're not taking any, and I wouldn't even say risk management, that you're just so cautious that you're not intentionally building anything in your life. You're sitting there, your mind is working. You're in your mind. In your mind, you're building all these great things. In your mind, you will. Let's keep it simple here. In your mind, you would love to go to a Brooklyn Nets game at Barclays. In your mind, you're working it over. You're looking at it. You're doing this, but you are not taking. And we're talking about building here, but I'm going to just lower the standard for the sake of me starting off with simple, small goals and desires, and then we can get back to business. But so it's certain small things that you would like to do and check off your bucket list, but you are on a mental payroll. You're always thinking about this. You're always coming up with new ideas. You're already doing it, but you are not building anything real. What I mean, building anything real, you're not even taking the steps to make sure that you can experience that experience that you want so bad. And that's the same thing with business or building companies or building businesses. Yeah, you want to be the number one YouTube influencer, but you don't know how to be consistent in making content every day. You're not looking to take a video that you've made, put it inside of a software, a system where it cuts that 50-minute video into certain small short videos, and then you have a content calendar where you can post those different sayings of videos, where you will have content every day of the week, different types of content. You don't even have a content calendar. There's no way you can reach your goal without strategizing a way to get there, or creating some type of roadmap on certain days and certain steps on how you can execute to get exactly where you want to go. Yeah, you can want to be a Bentley owner all you want to, but if you're not doing anything, if you're not making the moves that you need to make to generate the capital in order to own a Bentley without it becoming where it's more of an asset, which cars depreciate as soon as you bring them off of the lot. But what I mean is an asset to you mentally, where you're saying you can look at that car and say, man, I really put the work in. I really done exactly what I needed to do. I created a version of myself that was able to get this vehicle. A version, and it doesn't always mean to work hard either. You know what I mean? I can have a company right now, and the company just say I have bad credit. I can have a company right now, I have bad credit. I really don't know what to do to fund the company. I can bring somebody aboard, give them 20% of the company, use their good credit to get a $250,000 loan. We can start the company, get the company rolling. They really don't know anything about this particular company, or maybe they do want to be involved. And then after we make so much money, I can try to buy back the other 20%. You know what I mean? I can buy back the other 20% after we pay the loan off, after we start to make profits, unless they are really passionate and they see what's going on and they want to keep part of that company. But that's completely fine. That could be a business partner for life. But there are certain ways that you don't have to work like a dog. You don't have to work 2 or 3 jobs to try to build the capital or save money so you can start your own business. You don't have to do all that. There's smarter ways to do that. You can share the pie. Don't try to eat the whole pie. You know what I mean? Don't try to eat the whole watermelon. You know what I mean? You eat your part of the watermelon, save the seeds, and plant more watermelons while letting everybody enjoy the original watermelon, the initial watermelon, the first one. Give people a slice of that watermelon. They don't cut it down into pieces. But what you do is, while you're eating your slice, you save all your seeds and you plant more. And share the main project. Share the main business. And start to create everything, create other entities based off your experience of what you learned through working with investors, working with business partnerships to create other companies, and taking that experience to make sure it works in a way. And you will be able to own everything on your own again, but you can delegate tasks and hire people and pay them what their value worth is from that experience, from learning from that experience. But first off, so what I'm saying is, it's many ways. It's more than one way to skin a cat. But mental payroll, like I said, to me, it's just like work. I'm working in mine, but I'm not building anything real. I'm thinking small, I'm playing safe, and I'm waiting for something that's already mine. If you can think it, if it can come to your mind that, you know what, by next year, I wanna by next month, I want to reach a goal of $100,000 in profits and profitable revenue within this company, this particular company. I want to reach $100,000 in profitable revenue by the end of this month. The truth is, it's possible. You have to come up with a strategy that can a strategy that will ensure that particular goal manifests. Is the strategy out there? Yes, the strategy is out there. The people are out there. The target market is out there. It's possible. It's possible. It's completely possible. Anything that you can think of to do in this life is completely possible. I'm 35 years old right now. If I just said, you know what, I want to learn how to fly planes. You know what, I can go get a loan and go to flight school right now, and within after the program, I could be a pilot. It's life is not that hard or complicated as people make it look. It's just people that are not willing to risk anything to live the life that they want to live. Some people won't take any risk. They won't be their authentic self. They will sit back and they will judge and critique everybody else's life while they stay on the porch while everybody is in the yard playing with water guns. They're sitting there having a blast. You're sitting on the porch and like, oh, I bet that water's hot. I bet that water's too cold. Look at them. You're sitting there critiquing everybody else living their life while you're sitting on the porch watching everybody have fun in the yard and do exactly what they want to do, and they're having a blast. And you're sitting there like you are the judge of New York City. You know what I mean? Like you are the ultimate judge, like you're God, like you're God's best. God put you in a position to judge and critique every celebrity's life, everybody that God ever placed around you as an example, everyone that God ever places around you as a friend. You're sitting there secretly judging and complaining about everybody else's life when really you're the person that don't want to take any risks. You don't even want to set up a routine where you can work out every day or every Friday. I don't care if it's every Friday, I'm going to shave. You know what I mean? Every Friday, I don't care what I do, I'm going to wash my hair. Every Friday, every week I'm going to wash my hair, oil, grease it. That's for black people. I don't think other races grease their hair, but so throw that out of the window. But I'm going to set up small things that will help you in growth. That helps your self-confidence. That's growth. So some people, they don't even take those small steps. That they're just on mental payroll. They talk about what they want to do and, ooh, this would be nice. They watch someone else living the life that they deserve to live and that they really desire to live. And then they sit back in bitterness and they sit back in anger and envy and jealousy when all they have to do is just take the steps that they need to take for their own life. You know what I mean? You don't have to sit there and watch someone else eat chicken and waffles if you have some money. You sit there and spend all your money on cigarettes or on something that will kill you, but you really desire something else. Okay, what you need to do is you need to say, I'm gonna set a budget. I'm just gonna buy one pack a week, and I'm gonna try to make it with this pack. You know what I mean? And after this, it's gone. I'm not gonna spend my money on any more. And that's harder. That's easier said than done as well. Because I used to be a smoker. But what I'm saying is, you have to become disciplined to some degree. You have to learn how to discipline yourself so that you can enjoy other things. I couldn't enjoy certain things like what caviar. How can I enjoy something like that if I'm spending all my money on frivolous things that I really don't need? You know what I mean? You're spending all your money on I can't say that because I love stuff like that. You know what I mean? I was about to say, but that was food wise. But you're spending your money on something that's not going to help growth, or just going to help you to be a treat to yourself, something that you deserve and desire. No, I'm using food now as food, but this can pertain to be tailored to any area of your life. You know what I mean? You're watching, for the women, you're watching YouTube makeup videos, and you're just like, man, how does someone get that good at doing their own makeup? You know what I mean? It's either two things can happen. Either you can take the time out, you can take 30 minutes out of your day, watch those videos and invest in yourself. I mean, spend 50, $60 or $100. You don't have to play with the best makeup. Play with the makeup that's not as good, but that you can use and learn how to blend. So once you get the good stuff, the real stuff that really costs more, you won't mess up and have to, waste your money. Start to play with some stuff. 30 minutes a day, learn how to do the makeup so you won't have to have no one else do it. And that way you can also monetize that and do your friend's makeup for the wedding. You know what I mean? I met a woman that was at a fashion show. I actually did a fashion show for kids probably 2 weeks at the Le Mans Ballroom on Wall Street. It was a New York Kids Runway. It was a phenomenal show. So, but I met someone there, and that's probably the origin of their story. They didn't probably go to some big, massive, fashion designer studio. This person was phenomenal. Could have done makeup for movies. What I mean by that is like with, making the masks for the movies. They were that good. I mean, just in 5 minutes and transform someone's entire face in 5 minutes, just like was effortlessly. That person got there by taking time out every day to make sure that they got to the point that they wanted to get to. So don't sit there. You need to break mental payroll. You know what I mean? You need to come out of your mind and start to execute those plans that's in your mind to make the real money in real life, to build things in real life. So breaking that mindset, it really meant that I had to stop being satisfied with mental activity and start demanding real results from myself, real actions from myself. That's breaking mental payroll. It's that you have to break the mindset that's of just stop being satisfied with all these dreams and all these hopes and all this stuff, and start taking and telling yourself, I'm gonna tell someone something that needs to hear this. You owe it to yourself. You deserve good things. You deserve to come out of a place and out of a mindset that you're not taking actions on your dreams, and you're sitting there and you're underlying, you're in the shadows being bitter and mad at someone else's life, and you're letting your life pass you by because you're the wicked judge of the East. You're judging everybody like you some type of, I don't know. I don't want to down anyone here, but what I want you to know is that you deserve it. You deserve to say, instead of me worrying about someone else's hairstyle or someone else's haircut or someone else's clothes, just this material stuff that don't make any sense. Every day, I'm saying I'm going to take a step or action towards what I want in my life. I don't care if you don't think you're smart enough to go back to school. You say, man, I probably would never get my high school diploma or GED or whatever. But take the time to learn, man. Take the time to learn. Get the workbook. Get the workbook and slowly start to ask for help. There is people out there that will help you to accomplish that goal, and that can give you fulfillment. I don't care what it is, man. You want to get your GED? You want to feel like that's something that you missed out on, man, and you let people beat you down. You let life beat you down, saying that you're not qualified or, to have a GED. You're stupid, this and that, whatever happened in life, man. And an old addiction doesn't cancel out you having a great future. You know what I mean? A bad marriage doesn't dictate you being the CEO of a Fortune 500 company. It doesn't have to be a Fortune 500 company. There's people that's not even part of a Fortune 500 company, and they're wealthy. You'll never even hear their names in the Forbes list. There's so many families that's wealthy. There's so many people in the world that are rich that drive a Prius. You know what I mean? If I was rich, but I can't say that. But what I'm saying is, when I purchase a vehicle being here in New York City, I ride the subway. But when I purchase a vehicle, you wouldn't know I was rich. I would pull up in a 2006 Toyota Corolla. But I would have another vehicle. Maybe if I need to go to a certain type of meeting, maybe if I need to go to a certain type of event or charity, or meet with a client or meet with an international client, pick someone up from the airport, then I would bring out the other vehicle that's meant for. But as far as just driving around town, as far as me pulling up to go and get something to eat at night, I would drive a certain type of vehicle that you would never even know. I wear a white t-shirt, some jeans, and some dad Nikes, you know what I mean? And you would never even know I was even rich. So you know what I mean? So, but I would have another vehicle to show up a certain type of way for different type of clients and for different meetings and different things that I needed to do. But man, I would drive that 06 Toyota Corolla all around town because I'm gonna tell you something. What makes you a boss, or what makes you a leader, or what makes you someone to be respected is your energy signature. It isn't your outward appearance. You can look like the king of New England, but as soon as someone tries you energetically, tries you spiritually, you crumble like a little frog. You know what I mean? You crumble like a snail getting salt poured on them. Your energy signature that is your energy signature that is created from moving from the mental payroll to executing tasks and putting action. That is what levels you up and changes your signature. Well, spiritually too, you know what I mean? It has a spiritual factor. Giving your life to the Lord Jesus Christ is the only way that you can be connected to the source of energy, which is the Ancient of Days, which is God the Father. So that is the source of all things. So if you really want to become powerful, if you really want to become anointed or understand what you are here on this earth for, you want to live with purpose, the only way that you're going to live like that is through receiving Jesus Christ as Lord and Savior. You know what I mean? Some people say, well, I hate to say that, but I know it's going to be hard for some people to swallow, especially on this business podcast. But if you really want to live with purpose, if you really want to live and come out of the rat race and gain your freedom back, your liberty back, where you can be okay. It's not really a rat race. I'm trying to get much more sales than him, and it's okay with healthy competition is okay. But what I'm saying is, you want to be liberated mentally to the point that you're going to say, man, whatever happens, I know it's going to happen. Not saying you're doing the possible, but everything else outside of that, because of what you are attached to, it will ensure victory no matter what situation you're in. And God never lost a battle. So I just want to leave that with you guys. You know what I mean? I know this is a business podcast, this is a religious podcast, but if you do want to get to a point where you level up spiritually, where your energy signature increases, placing you in the place that you're supposed to be, and it's going to come with a lot of persecution and a lot of battles, but you will be able to be kept and sustain and endure those battles, coming out on the other side stronger, looking better, looking more healthy, more intellectual, more experienced, where you can help others. So, but yeah, that's one way. But number one, so we're gonna end this. That's it, man. So, like I said, I had 3 points. Number one is the concept of mental payroll. Basically, like I said, mental payroll to me is just like working in my mind, but not building anything real. Thinking small, playing safe, waiting for something that's already mine to claim. Breaking this mindset. It really means that you have to stop being satisfied with mental activity and start being satisfied with physical activity. No, that's not what I wrote, and start demanding real results and actions from yourself. Number two, shifting from employee thinking to ownership thinking. I had to stop waiting for permission. I had to from people, from fear, from my past, and start thinking like the owner of my life. So you have to think from being an employee, letting life you're clocking into life, and life is just taking you any kind of way. You gave up all your power. Someone tells you when you can eat, when you can leave, when you can get up, when you can do you have to take your power back. You have to know that you're the owner of your own life. You don't just be swayed with every mental thought that comes in mind, where you're not thinking, you haven't sat with yourself long enough to say, what do I like? What do I don't like? What are my morals? What are my boundaries? Some people don't have any boundaries. They're just going through life like an employee. They clock into life and it's just wherever the wind blows. No, that's not how life is supposed to be. You're supposed to know exactly why you're here, what you're supposed to be doing while you're here, what desires do you have, what dreams do you have. Some people don't even know what they like because they just let life take them any kind of way that they want to go. They don't even know if they like fried chicken. You know what I mean? But the propaganda is saying, you know what I mean, white people don't like fried chicken. You know, it's for the, I was about to say the N word. It's for them. But you take a bite of that crispy fried chicken, you'll be in love. You'll be bringing you'll be bringing fried chicken to all the gatherings. It was like, well, we're trying to eat healthy over here. You could have brought it grilled, but then you was like, man, you got to taste this chicken. You start to, you know what I mean? So it will break all those mental barriers, you know what I'm saying? Because you want to take risks, you know what I mean? You're not going, you have taken control and ownership over your life. You're not just being swayed by propaganda. You're not being swayed by politics. You're not being swayed. You're saying that, okay, I will listen to these things, but these things are not going to I'm just not going to be persuaded or manipulated by what I see. I'm going to listen and I'm going to take into account all of these different things, but I'm going to make my own conscious decision of what I believe that's based on my morals and based off my discernment and my understanding of what I want for my life and what I truly believe within myself. I'm just not going to let somebody manipulate me into thinking that all black people are bad or all white people are bad or all rich people or tyrants or all, these things that these mindsets that were cultivated throughout generation and passed on from bloodline to bloodline. This person doesn't deserve to be rich because he's black and young. Who the one said that I wanted to be in your club anyways? Who's to say that my bloodline is not supposed to be wealthy because I came? Do you know how many people have came into wealth through grit and grind and through believing in themselves? And you feel like, some people tell me like, oh, I don't deserve to. I never asked for a membership anyways. I'm not asking to eat from your table. I've created my own table. I'm not sitting here asking you to be a part of your club, your group, your cult, your society. So I don't need a whole group of people to feel powerful. I just need God, and I'm good. You know what I mean? I built 30 companies, me and God. You know what I mean? I didn't have people wanting to help me. I didn't have anyone doing payroll or doing bookkeeping or someone else doing marketing. Me and God did it all by ourselves. I'm not asking for a membership. So some people feel like that they're the gatekeepers. There are gatekeepers out here. Don't get me wrong, but some people feel like that you don't deserve to be in the tax bracket that they're in. Like, who are you? Like, who are you to say that what I deserve and what I don't deserve? And that is the point in time once you gain that attitude where you take ownership of your life. So I don't care what anyone says. If I'm putting the work in to be rich, if I'm putting the work in to be wealthy, if I'm cultivating the mindset, not only the mindset, I'm putting into action and I'm getting the knowledge that I need to come up with a strategic wealth plan for the next generation. Who's to tell me that my family doesn't deserve to be passed along a land trust or a family trust? Or who's to say that the next generation of my family doesn't deserve to inherit 30 businesses? I'm supposed to give them away all the charity and let my family live in lack. You know what I mean? Who's to say that my family doesn't deserve to live and thrive, you know what I mean, within a certain economic bracket? And that's that point in time where you have to say, enough is enough. I'm gonna take my life back. I'm gonna take my business back. It's okay to get mentorship, but mentorship shouldn't be to the point where that person is living their life through you. They have to allow for you to, if I mentor somebody, I'm going to tell them the right things, but at the end of the day, I want them to know that what I'm telling you, I want you to eat the meat and leave the bones. I want you to eat whatever I'm telling you. You don't have to apply it all to your life, but take what you can that applies to your certain situation. I can't talk to someone about wearing getting on a personal jet, and I don't even know how, probably $25,000 it costs to fuel a jet to go from one place to another. Who got that type of money to burn every time you want to take a flight on your personal jet? Yeah, you own the jet. the hard part wasn't owning the jet, but the maintenance of that private jet and the gas that you need to go from one place to another, spending $30,000 for one trip on top of the trip that you have to spend, probably more than that. And then you have to maintenance the jet as well. So I can't tell someone that's a McDonald's employee that wants to leave. They have a passion for fashion, passion for fashion. They have a passion for fashion, so they want to start their own clothing line, but they want to break away from the 9 to 5, and they want to start to find ways to break away by going into fashion, maybe selling their clothes online, maybe creating clothes they can sell around town, maybe starting their own small pop-up shop or something like that they want to do. I can't talk to them on the same level I can talk to a jet owner that lives in a whole different another realm, a whole different another world. So I would tell someone, eat the meat and leave the bones. It depends on who you're mentoring. You need to be able to be adaptable and flexible and being able to identify with who you're talking to so you can eat the meat and leave the bones. Take what you can take that you can apply to help you to get to the next level from the level that you're at. And sometimes someone that's already at a higher level, they need to be reminded of small things to help them to fill those cracks in their foundation. And that's because some people, they start off having the right heart. They start off having the right passion and the motives for why they want to become wealthy, why they want to build business. But along the way, being introduced to certain type of people, it shaped their reality, to the point where it's cracks in their foundation. What I mean by that, the way that they started off with stoicism, the way that they started off with compassion and mercy, the way that they started off, you can still be wealthy, be bold, not be a pushover, and still be compassionate. You can still possess the qualities of both. You can be bold, you can be fierce, you cannot be a pushover, but you can still be a merciful person and understand someone's mistake. Yeah, someone stole six cheeseburgers to feed the family from one of my restaurant establishments. But instead of me firing them or me doing this, what we need to do is, I don't want you ever to be placed in a position where you work here where food is, where you don't feel like you're feeding your family. Now, if I'm paying you what the job requires. That's just what the job costs. I can't up your pay. You know what I mean? But what I can do, we can put you on a employee meal plan that includes your family. That means this: every time that you eat, you get 2 meals a day when you work here for your shift. You have a family of 6. You can take your food home, but you can also make 6 burgers. And I'm just gonna do 10 cents a burger. So you know what I mean? You're gonna get a good cost. I'm gonna cost you 10 cents out of your check a burger. So if you want to take 6 burgers and 6 fries home every day, that's going to be, that's going to be $1.20, $1.20. You know what I'm saying? We're going to set up an employee meal plan to make sure that your family can eat, so that the money that you make here, that you can at least help pay your rent, your bills, or pay for the school clothes. And then we will have other incentives as well, and other programs that I'll be able to help you with to get clothes for your school. But I can't just give you a $20 raise just because you're stealing cheeseburgers. No, this is what this is the entry cost of the job. I just can't give you a raise to sympathize with your position, but what I can is I can offer you other resources or other alternatives that can help you where you can still be relieved when it doesn't have to do with money. I can remove you out of that mental prison of lack, without jeopardizing my establishment and the way that I have things set up. So, but yeah, eat the meat and leave the bones. But shifting from the employee thinking to the ownership thinking, when I was stuck in employee thinking, I only moved when someone told me to. Now I move because I decide to. I used to only do this or do that when I was told to. I would go and ask someone, so what should I do about this and do that? And then once they told me, then I would go and do it. Now I go and I do the research myself. If it's something that I feel like I want to do, I do my own research. I do what I want to do whenever I feel like doing. I do my own research. Whenever I want to go and find the best boba spot in New York City, I do the research. I don't usually ask for suggestions unless I you know what I mean, unless I just run into a friend or a colleague or someone random that may be drinking it. But whenever I want to do something, I decide to do it. I don't wait on someone else to tell me what to do. I don't wait on someone else to tell me I have to get in the shower. I don't wait to tell someone else that, to wait on someone else to tell me that, I need to make sure that I put all my kids' school clothes out at night, the night before, because I know that it's hard for me to wake up in the morning. You know what I mean? It's hard for me to wake up in the morning and to do and to get all my kids together to go to school. I already know I have kids. I already know that I made all these children, but I have to find another way or a strategy that best fits me and my lifestyle. I know it's going to be hard for me to get up. The kids are not old enough to dress themselves unless you have a teenager in the home that can help with getting the other kids dressed. You need to come up with a way. You need to make everyone take a bath at night. If you have younger children, you need to bathe them at night. Do whatever, you put all the school clothes out at night, and then if you know you're gonna wake up late and you're gonna be groggy and you haven't had coffee yet, and at least that would take some pressure off of your morning where you're running around trying to get clothes together, trying to do this. You've already washed the clothes for the week. Set a schedule together where you can wash clothes, twice a week. All the school clothes are going to be washed on Tuesdays, and all the regular clothes are going to be washed on Thursdays. So that way, every week we have fresh clothes, or every Sunday you're going to wash the school clothes for the week. Whatever you need to do. I don't know why I got on that, but that was for someone that needed that. But take practical steps to break free. That's our third point. Practical steps to break free. Every morning I reset my mind. I ask myself, am I clocking in mentally or creating intentionally? Am I creating the life that I want intentionally, or I just clocking in mentally? I'm just clocking in saying I'm here. I woke up this morning, I ate me a bowl of cereal. Man, what is it to do next? Like, what do I need to do? I'm just sit down and watch some movies and let my life pass me by. Be comfortable, maybe, scroll on Facebook a little bit and see what's going on. No, you need to be intentional with your life. I don't care what it is. You need to be intentional. If you don't want to live like this for the rest of your life, if you don't want to sit around in the mindset of bitterness and watching people live their life, and then you're sitting there critiquing people that you will never even probably meet. You're sitting there, you're fans, and you're in love with these celebrities and people that you will never even meet. But the person their next door neighbor that lives right there too, you can't even stand them. You can't stand them because they have a dog that barks too loud. But you know what I mean? This celebrity who you don't even know, who you're buying tickets to, you're so in love with, you're watching all that. If you was to meet this person in person, they got dogs that bark loud. They don't clean up as much. They're messy. They just look good for the photo shoots. If you was to meet, so you're so in love with someone that you don't know, that the person right across the street that you can have dinner with, and you can get over that little dog that you find irritable, that's become a barrier from you creating a true friendship. You know what I mean? So man, you have to live intentionally. You just can't clock into life and just go. So that was for somebody as well. So, but you have to start journaling what you want to build. You have to start journaling what do you want? What do you want to build? Not just what I have to do. That small shift, it makes your life more purpose driven. And we're going to end there on that note. So start to journal down exactly what you want to build, not just what you have to do. There are some to do things on my list that I have to do, but there's also some things that I need to put in place that I said, this is what I want to build. This goes beyond, it helps you to live a life that's full of purpose, or a purpose-driven life. So this is the House of Business Podcast 2.0. This is your host, Caleb Thompson. This episode is called Breaking Mental Payroll. We had 3 points. Our number 1 point was the concept of mental payroll. Number 2 was shifting from employee thinking to ownership thinking. And number 3, practical ways or practical steps to break free from mental payroll. So we'll see you guys back here next Saturday, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Once again, this is the House of Business Podcast. The host, Caleb Thompson. Peace.